दिल से निकलेगी ना मर कर भी वतन की उल्फत, मेरी मिट्टी से भी खुशबुए वफा आएगी. The date was March 23, 1931. On this day, a sacrifice for the independence was made that not only shook the nation but the entire world. This story belonged to three young revolutionaries, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru. They engraved their names in the annals of history, not with ink but with their blood. Their tale of courage and valor was such that they preferred embracing the death over accepting subjugation, and thus, with laughter on their lips, they sacrificed not just their hearts but also their lives for their motherland. These three were revolutionaries who had shaken the British rulers to their core. They neither feared the gun nor mental and physical torture. They not only performed these acts openly but also inspired thousands of youths to join struggle for independence. And seeing them, many thousands actually joined the movement. In such circumstances, it was necessary to silence them. The British got an opportunity to silence them. But does a revolution ever truly remain silent? The British filed a case against them in the Lahore conspiracy case. This case arose in 1928 in Lahore following the murder of British police officer John Saunders. This murder was in retaliation for the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, who was seriously injured during a police lathi charge amid protest against the Simon Commission. But the story of this case did not start from here. The story of this case started with the incident of bombing of the Central Assembly in Delhi in the year 1929. On April 8, 1929, in opposition to the repressive Public Safety Bill and the Trade Disputes Act, Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt orchestrated a bombing in the Central Legislative Assembly to make the deaf British government hear their voice. In order to reach their voice to the masses, they did not try to run away from there despite having a chance. Rather, they were decided to volunteer arrest and spread nationalist sentiment all over the country by conveying their views to the people through court proceedings and newspapers. This further increased the anger of the British. When the British could not make allegations of violent activities against them in the Central Assembly case, they intensified the investigation against Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev's names emerged in the investigation of Saunders' murder case. Under the Ordinance of 1930, a special tribunal was set up to try them. This tribunal found all three revolutionaries guilty of various charges, including the murder of John Saunders, and sentenced them to death by hanging. As soon as this news reached beyond the walls of the courtroom, the entire country witnessed a wave of mourning and anger. October 7, 1930 was the day when they were sentenced to death by hanging. During that time, the Gandhi-Irwin Pact negotiations were going on. On March 5, 1931, without stopping the execution of these three revolutionaries, Gandhi also settled with Viceroy Irwin. After this incident, for the first time, people showed black flags to Gandhi. Despite Gandhi's countless efforts, their execution could not be stopped. Their hanging was scheduled for March 24, 1931, but out of fear of any uprising in the country, the British expedited this heinous act a day earlier. On the morning of March 23, 1931, there was a grim atmosphere in the Lahore Central Jail. Three young revolutionaries were informed that their hanging was scheduled for that evening. Before the hanging, countless emotions filled the Lahore Central Jail. Bhagat Singh, 23 years old, sat calmly, his face serene, immersed in the book Revolutionary Lenin. His comrades Sukhdev and Rajguru were similarly composed. In their final conversation, there was no fear or despair, but a discussion about the dream of a free India. An India where there is no place for oppression, no place for inequality. Outside the jail, there was a different restlessness among the people. Unaware that their heroes would attain martyrdom today, the city was filled with the restlessness of protest demonstrations and silent prayers for those young heroes. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev spent their last hours in prayer, contemplation and writing. They bid an emotional farewell to their families, who were allowed to meet them one last time. As the evening sun began to set, the three freedom fighters were taken to the gallows. Bhagat Singh, dressed in a simple white kurta and pajama, walked with steady steps. His face bore the physical marks of hardships endured in jail, but his spirit remained unbroken. Rajguru and Sukhdev were equally determined to follow him. In a display of supreme courage, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru hugged for the last time. Their march to the gallows was not a march of defeat, but of bravery. Their slogans, 𝐸𝐾𝐒 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐥𝐢𝐬 and Vande Mataram, echoed through the walls of the Lahore Central Jail. All three kissed the noose with smiles on their faces and gave their lives for the cause they believed in. Their sacrifice was not in vain. It inspired millions, and after years of relentless efforts, India finally attained independence in 1947. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev are immortal in the hearts of Indians, and their story continues to inspire generations to strive for justice and equality. March 23, the day of their execution, is now observed as Martyr's Day to honor their sacrifice and the sacrifices of countless others who fought for India's independence. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.